Hello, welcome to Get Your Mind On. I'm Lori Stoss. Let's think today about unleashing your potential, unlocking that potential. What is your full potential? Well, how many people in the world have reached their full potential? I would say not very many. As a matter of fact, I've heard that it's been less than 10-15% of the people have reached their potential. Of course, when you go online to find something, that's something very difficult to find, because what is that maximum potential that someone can reach? So do we really need to compare ourselves to others? Not necessarily. To us, it's really thinking about what is our potential that we want to reach, kind of what's that level of success that's important to us. But many of us know we have a higher level of potential. It's really thinking about what can we do to get closer to that. So there's really three things that I want to talk about today. One we talked about last week is when you think about your potential and reaching your potential, these three critical things will help you get closer. First is passion. What is your passion? You really have to think about something that you're passionate about, something that you love and that you just exudes. And when you talk about it, you get excited about it. Because when you really think about unlocking or unleashing that potential, it's really about am I passionate about? So that's something you need to discover and think about. The second piece is talent. What are the things that you're good at? We have a tendency to focus on those things that we're not so good at, and so we kind of get that in the way. But I want you to think about, what are you great at that you can do every day, because you're never going to reach that potential if you're doing things that you're not so good at. So if you think back to times previously in the blog episodes that we had, we talked about what is your talent? What is your skill, your knowledge, and your experience? You really need to think holistically about what's so natural to you. What is something that you can do all day long and not get tired? Something that's easy and effortless. Because in terms of reaching that full potential, you really need to think about that, because that's how you're going to get at that higher level of success. And third is mindset. When you think about athletes, many times we think about them for the whole potential or unlocking that potential. And that's really about mental stamina. Mental stamina, belief, mindset, vision is, can you get your head in the game, right? It's kind of get your mind on, get your head in that game, and can you stick with it? Can you know when you can stretch yourself to those different areas that you're kind of out of your comfort zone? Because that's when we reach the higher levels of success. As John Maxwell says, in order to accomplish something, you have to start something. So if you have not really started anything and stretched outside of that comfort zone and tried to accomplish something, you're never going to get to that unlimited potential. But if we just stay comfortable, we won't even realize what that potential might be. So why do we not even go there? Why do some of us feel like, well, I'm really at my potential, or I'm really not interested, I'm really good? Well, really the first thing is fear. When we think about fear, many of us live in a good comfort zone and say we're doing well. You know, I've made a great living, made much more than I expected. I'm comfortable. Well, comfortable is safe, but we're really afraid. But step back and think about, what are you really afraid of? Are you afraid of your success? Or are you afraid of failure? Sometimes we have a tendency to maybe think more about, oh, I don't want to fail. But sometimes we might even be scared of ourselves and really what our true light is, that true potential that we can have and that we can discover as we just kind of crack that open and go a little bit further. So there is that potential that we have in us that we might be afraid of, that is just as much the potential as it is the failure. The other things you can think about in terms of your things that get in the way. Many times we might make excuses, or we might think about those types of things like, I can see the vision, but I don't know how to do it. So we sometimes forget about that. And that kind of goes back to the talent piece is, as I always say, remember what you do best and surround yourself with the rest. So we have a tendency to maybe think that we're the ones that have to come up with everything. Well, some of us are strategic, some of us are more implementers. So it's kind of knowing that we can't do this by ourselves, but sometimes we put ourselves in the shoes that we just don't have what it takes, or we don't know how to do it, when we could really tap into others to help us with that. And the last thing is, sometimes we start down that path, we set goals, we're excited, and we just give up too soon. Maybe we just lose belief, we lose that mental stamina, that one that I talked about before, and we're just like, oh, well, it's not that big of a deal, and we just give up. And so really we have to think about, what are we working to accomplish? Going back to, what do I want to unleash? What is my mission? What is the goal I want to accomplish? What's the purpose? It's all that tied in together to really think about, how do you unleash and unlock your potential? So for our positive charge this week, think about, what is the potential that you want to unlock? What are you passionate about? What are you great at? And what really can you put your mind to that you really believe in? First, you have to believe in yourself, but also you have to believe in being able to stretch yourself and that mental stamina that you can do. So those three things, I want you to just step back and look at those three things. And then the last thing on positive charge is, what are you afraid of? Are you afraid of your potential, or are you afraid of failure? And really thinking through that and knowing that, what is the worst possible thing that could happen? What? Discovering your potential. What a wonderful thing. Accomplishing more than you ever thought you would. Thank you for joining us, and remember to get your mind on.